Hello everyone, here we are. We're going to do Proverbs 21 and 22, but I want to address a proverb we saw last night. It was Proverbs 19:22, and in the New International Version it says this: what a person desires is unfailing love. Better to be poor than a liar. In another version, it says the desire of a man is his kindness. So I suppose kindness could be looked at as unfailing love, love that doesn't fail you. And a poor man is better than a liar. So I think perhaps I misunderstood simply the wording. What a person desires is unfailing love, or let's put in the word kindness. What a person desires is kindness. Better to be poor. Let's look at how this one says it. And, okay, so they're not putting in the word and in the New International Version, but it would say what a person desires is unfailing love or kindness, and better to be poor than a liar. Okay. So, and then there was another one that I thought we were, it was the one that talked about a person, take the cloak of a person who puts up surety for a stranger. And basically what that is saying is, don't get involved in surety, guaranteeing the loans of a stranger, okay? Let me see if I can just find it really quickly here so we can kind of pick it apart here. Take the garment of one who puts up security for a stranger. Hold it in pledge if it's done for an outsider. So it sounds to me like the whole thing is a mess, but I'm going to do this. So this is 2016. So I'm going to say here, because I read a couple commentaries on it, but they didn't really make sense to me. They were a little bit involved, more involved than I would like to be with this. Okay. Well, now this is very interesting. It just says another warning against suretyship. In other words, guaranteeing the loans of someone you don't know. They're tying it in. This one is interesting. It says here, take his garment that is surety for a stranger, Proverbs 20:16, which a man is cautioned against. But if a man will be so weak and foolish, others ought to take care of him and be cautious how they trust him, for he is in danger of being ruined by his suretyship, and therefore nothing should be lent him without a pledge, without a proper security. For though it was not lawful to take the garment of a poor man for a pledge, at least it was not to be kept after sunset. Yet it was right to take such a man's garment who had or would be thought to have such an abundance as to be surety for a stranger. Okay, so this is talking about a man with money who's guaranteeing people's loans, but he's a fool. And they're saying, he's going to be so foolish, he's going to lose all his money. So take a pledge from it, take a guarantee, take his garment or his cloak. I hope I'm getting that right, but basically, that's what I'm hearing. Let's go on here. Some think of these words are to be taken as prophecy of what would be the case of such a man that is surety for a stranger. Okay, it's going to get into something deeper than I want to get into. So let's just look at it. When they're talking about surety and they're talking about pledges, the person who's guaranteeing loans for a stranger is foolish and needs to be looked out for because he's not making sense with what he's doing. All right. So Proverbs 21. In the Lord's hand, the king's heart is a stream of water. that he channels towards all who please him. A person may think their own ways are right, but the Lord weighs the heart. To do what is right and just is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice, and that would be the scripture that says obedience is better than sacrifice. So it's better to be obedient than to go put a lamb on the altar and sacrifice it. Just be obedient. It's like a parent with their children. You want your children to believe you, and because they believe you, they will obey you. It's very painful when they don't believe you and then they go on to not obey you. Haughty eyes and a proud heart, the unplowed field of the wicked, produce sin. The plans of the diligent lead to profit as surely as haste leads to poverty. A fortune made by a lying tongue is a fleeting vapor and a deadly snare. The violence of the wicked will drag them away, for they refuse to do what is right. And I know you've seen people like this, and we've all known people like this. They just refuse. You know, if a choice is put in front of them, they always choose wrong. Always. The way of the guilty is devious, but the conduct of the innocent is upright. Better to live on a corner of the roof than share a house with a quarrelsome wife. The wicked crave evil. Their neighbors get no mercy from them. Boy, is that the truth. When a mocker is punished, the simple gain wisdom. By paying attention to the wise, they get knowledge. The righteous one, capital letters, righteous and one, takes note of the house of the wicked and brings the wicked to ruin. God's watching, folks. He's taking note of those who are wicked. Whoever shuts their ears to the cry of the poor will also cry out and not be answered. A gift given in secret soothes anger, and a bribe concealed in the cloak pacifies great wrath. When justice is done, it brings joy to the righteous, but terror to evildoers. And that's true. When they see justice done, they get scared because they are afraid it's going to come for them, and it will. Whoever strays from the path of prudence comes to rest in the company of the dead. So you wake up and you're surrounded by the dead. Whoever loves pleasure will become poor. There's a place for pleasure, folks, but we don't make it a lifestyle. Whoever loves wine and olive oil will never be rich. So if you're drunk and if you're spending your money on olive oil, I guess, you know, and that could be a picture for a lot of things, not to say that it's a metaphor, because in this day and age, olive oil was probably abundant, but I think good olive oil was probably expensive. So it's saying whoever loves pleasure will become poor. Whoever loves wine and olive oil will never be rich. You know what I think it is? I think it's drunkenness and overeating. I think it's saying whoever loves wine and olive oil will never be rich, because olive oil was used in everything. So I think that's saying if you're drunk and you're overeating, you're never going to be rich. You're going to become poor. The wicked become a ransom for the righteous, and the unfaithful for the upright. The wicked become a ransom for the righteous, and the unfaithful for the upright. Better to live in a desert than with a quarrelsome and nagging wife. The wise store up choice food and olive oil, but fools gulp them down. Another reference to overeating and gluttony. Whoever pursues righteousness and love finds life, prosperity, and honor. One who is wise can go up against the city of the mighty and pull down the stronghold in which they trust. That's just from wisdom. Those who guard their mouths and their tongues keep themselves from calamity. I told you there's power in your speech. Be careful. The proud and arrogant person, mocker in quotes is his name, behaves with insolent fury. You see a lot of narcissistic people that have insolent pride, and when you trigger them, boy, you see some insolent fury. The craving of a sluggard will be the death of him, because his hands refuse to work. All day long he craves for more, but the righteous give without sparing. He has nothing to give. The sacrifice, because they have abundance, and they work, they have abundance, and they can share. But the sluggard, he craves and has nothing. The sacrifice of the wicked is detestable. How much more so when brought with evil intent? So probably, being brought to get something. I'm going to give this sacrifice and hope that the Lord is going to give me something. A false witness will perish. So a liar will perish. But a careful listener will testify successfully. That's neat. The wicked put up a bold front, but the upright give thought to their ways. There's no wisdom, no insight, no plan that can succeed against the Lord. The horse is made ready for the day of battle, but victory rests with the Lord. Proverbs 22. A good name is more desirable than great riches. To be esteemed is better than silver or gold. That is the truth. Rich and poor have this in common. The Lord is the maker of them all. The prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty. Humility is the fear of the Lord. If you have a leader in your life that you listen to what they're saying. And if they're telling you danger is coming, even if you don't see it, believe them, okay? If you trust them, okay? Humility is the fear of the Lord. Its wages are riches and honor and life. In the paths of the wicked are snares and pitfalls, but those who would preserve their life stay far from them. Start children off the way they should go, and even when they're old, they will not turn from it. And that refers to teaching them of the Lord. Teach your children of the Lord, and when they're old, they won't depart from it. The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender. Whoever sows injustice reaps calamity, and the rod they wield in fury will be broken. The generous will themselves be blessed, for they share their food with the poor. Drive out the mocker, and out goes strife. Quarrels and insults are ended. So getting rid of a mocker gets rid of strife, quarrels, and insults. One who loves a pure heart. The Lord talks a lot about mockers and liars. They're really the pins and needles of this life. One who loves a pure heart and who speaks with grace will have the king for a friend. The eyes of the Lord keep watch over knowledge, but he frustrates the words of the unfaithful. The sluggard says, "There's a lion outside. I'll be killed in the public square." In other words, they always have an excuse. The mouth of an adulterous woman is a deep pit. A man who's under the Lord's wrath falls into it. Did you ever think about that? Sometimes the Lord just leads evil people right to the pit. I've thought about that a lot, because some things are just so tailor-made, such tailor-made paybacks for people. It's terrible. So I'm going to read it again. The mouth of an adulterous woman is a deep pit. A man who's under the Lord's wrath falls into it. Folly is bound and up in the heart of a child, but the rod of discipline will drive it far away. It's instant pain. Spankings are instant retribution and pain, and it makes an impression. One who oppresses the poor to increase his wealth, and one who gives gifts to the rich, both come to poverty. Let's read that again. One who oppresses the poor to increase his wealth, and one who gives gifts to the rich, both come to poverty. Pay attention and turn your ear to the sayings of the wise. Apply your heart to what I teach, Solomon again speaking, for it's pleasing when you keep them in your heart and have all of them ready on your lips, so that your trust may be in the Lord. I teach you today, even you. Have I not written 30 sayings for you? 30 sayings for you, sayings of counsel and knowledge, teaching you to be honest and to speak the truth, so that you bring back truthful reports to those you serve. In other words, haven't I given you all of these words so that you can go out there and have understanding and bring back good reports, truthful reports to those you serve? Do not exploit the poor because they're poor, and don't crush the needy in court, for the Lord will take up their case and will exact life for life. Amen. Do not make friends with a hot-tempered person. Don't associate with one easily angered, or you may learn their ways and get yourself ensnared. Do not be one who shakes hands in pledge or puts up security for debts. If you lack the means to pay, your very bed will be snatched from under you. And they used to do that. Do not move an ancient boundary stone set up by your ancestors. Do you see someone skilled in their work? They will serve before kings. They will not serve before officials of low rank. All right, that's the end of that one. One more sec here. I want to go back to 21, and I want to look at this one thing here. 21:18. All right. Okay, hold on. Bear with me here. 21:18. And it was about the wicked being ransom for the righteous. The righteous is delivered out of trouble, and the wicked come into his stead to receive upon his own head God's descending punishment. It says here, so it was with Mordecai and Haman. Do you remember the story of Esther, the queen, and her uncle Mordecai, and Haman, who kept going after him? And then Haman got impaled on the spike that he put up for Mordecai. It was a 50-foot tall spear that he wanted Mordecai impaled upon. So let's look at that again. The wicked shall be a ransom for the righteous. The righteous is delivered out of trouble, and the wicked come in his stead. Okay, so instead of the righteous being punished, the wicked get punished. So the wicked shall be a ransom for the righteous. Excuse me, I've got these little fruit flies in the house, and I'm not sure why. The wicked shall be a ransom. Okay, so the righteous get delivered, and the payment is paid by the wicked. Okay, and then it says, so it was with Mordecai and Haman. Mordecai was rescued, and Haman was that ransom money. He was that ransom for the wickedness. He paid it. He did it, and he paid it. I love you very much. I'll see you tomorrow, and we will continue on. You have a wonderful evening. I love you. Have a good evening, but remember to pray for me, and I'm praying for you. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.